all of you are healers, and I think it's imperative that we take responsibility for our own health. The problem is, if nobody educates us as to how the body functions, how are we going to do that? We can't rely on medical doctors and the healthcare system. We have to start taking back our health and helping other members of our families, and that includes extending that to the rest of our community, our animal community. So it's very exciting. This, for people who are professionals, has tremendous implications. I believe it has tremendous, because what it will do is it will extend your career, because it's non-invasive, it's not difficult, it's not dangerous, and boy, you can get tremendous results. Some of the stuff that we're doing, if people are interested, particularly for the massage therapist, this is, can you read what that is? This is a trigger point guide. And so I'll be showing you how to do very non-invasive trigger point techniques, and how to use that and translate that into therapy on the horses in a way that doesn't kill your hands doing massage therapy, equine massage therapy, which can be quite, strenuous. It can be very strenuous. So I'll show you. See, I'm all into being effective, but I also want it to be easy. I want it to be not hard work for the therapist, and I want it to be not uncomfortable for the client or for the animal. That's very important. So that's where, that's really the primary direction for quantum dynamics. And it's why I use light. Light is very non-invasive and hugely effective in healing. You can use these to heal wounds. It takes a little bit of time, but you'll be able to use your chroma light on your own little wounds. You can use it on neurological areas. I've taken areas on people's arms where they have had injuries and lost all sensation, and returned sensation very quickly to them. So it's that effective, and it certainly is an easy way. I believe it's an easy way, an effective way, from what I've seen, for working with animals. So quantum dynamics is about energetic healing techniques for people, pets, and horses. But what you'll be learning on the first day, one of our first lab exercises, is I will teach you how to see the energy, the healing energy that comes from your own hands. And that exercise is seeing is believing. So you'll be able to get a sense of how powerful your hands are and your own innate healing ability is. And I think that's very important. And that really sets the tone for you being able to appreciate what energetic healing is about, when you can actually see the energy coming from your hands. And this is something that I first saw and I learned in Beijing when I studied in China. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with everyone who comes to the seminar out there in Fresno. And then the rest of the work will be an integration of embryology with technique. And I know this doesn't sound like a whole lot of interesting stuff, but believe me, it will fascinate you. The other thing that you're going to learn if you come study with me is I'll show you how to save people from gallbladder surgery. I'll show you how to wake up the bowel, how to tonify for constipation, how to tonify it for diarrhea and control that kind of stuff, how to drain the liver and how to wake up the stomach. And if you can do that on a person, you can do that on an animal. So we're going to have to be a little creative with some of these techniques, but Dr. Thorne and I might be able to do that very effectively. That'll require a little bit of experimentation. So that's just the first day. Let me tell you, the second day we're going to look at, we'll be palpating the chakras. I'll teach you how to actually feel the chakra movement. And then we'll be also studying auricular therapy. let me tell you that I had a patient with a stroke today, and he was having difficulty with breathing. Nobody had identified that, but using auriculotherapy, I turned his brainstem back on. So there's a lot of amazing changes that you can make with something that's incredibly important. I'll also teach you the history of color therapy and some of the techniques that people are falling back on that we're going to have to go back to.
Does the light actually permeate the skin? Is that how it treats these different areas, or is it the heat, or what actually is it that...
Well, that's a real good question. The color frequency is a huge piece of it. And what people have always known, all the way back to the Egyptians, is that color in itself is very healing. So that's why this has a color feature, color. The laser, however, does have some properties. It feels like heat only because it improves circulation. So I'll be taking you guys and teaching you things that most chiropractors aren't even aware of. And I'm very excited to be able to share this. Through the years, I taught and would have seminars for my patients, and I would teach them self-help techniques using a simple little laser. But I never had access to the color. I never had the opportunity to use color therapy. And wow, that stuff is great. It's very exciting. I started to use less and less laser and more of the color. And I'll explain how unique the color feature is on this when we get a chance to study together. But this is a $450. You buy it separate, it's $450. And I'm including that in the seminar for everybody to have one. Of course, I want everybody to have one to learn how to use it as effectively as possible. However, I do want to point out that in the beginning of the seminar, we're going to be teaching how to use energy with your hands. So you will always have that energy available to you. Even if for some reason you don't have your light with you, you can still use the information that I'm showing you and use your hands to stimulate those points. So that's very important to know. It's not necessarily about the gadget, it's really about knowing the potential of healing. And that's my goal. So I really haven't done much in the way of advertising. Pretty much when I show it to other chiropractors, they kind of snatch it out of my hands. And when I train our massage therapists here, we've had a great time in our seminars. We had one of our last seminars, we had a wildlife rescue person, and she's working with deer and all kinds of little wildlife animals. So she's applying these principles out there to those kinds of creatures. I think the primary thing for massage therapists to know is that they will get 12 CEU credits, continuing ed credits, for attending the seminar, and that helps people tremendously. And it also expands their profession into the realm of working with animals. So they get an extra type of income from that. But the results that they'll get, if they're doing deep tissue work, oh my goodness, it's such a blessing to them because they won't be breaking their hands. And clearly it'll extend their professional life, their professional careers. Same thing with chiropractors. I'll also show you points that can be used for working with viruses, and we'll treat people who attend the seminar for their viruses. It's very simple stuff, and it makes a huge change in people's health.
Do you work with autism children with this very much?
I sure do. In fact, it was my autistic patients who taught me so very much about how the heck do you help somebody without touching them? Because, you know, that's a huge issue for autism. Many autistic children really can't tolerate touch, and they can't settle down in new environments. And so, yes, I've worked with autistic children for over 20 years. And God bless this laser. If I didn't have this laser, it would have been tough. But I used the laser in many different ways with autism. And one of the primary ways that I used the laser, because I didn't have access to the color aspect of this, but one of the primary ways that I used it is I treated the autistic children for allergies. And in that process, I took a tremendous burden and tremendous stress off the central nervous system, and that made a huge difference in their behavior and their sociability. It was very interesting, and I'm so thankful to have had that opportunity to work with autistic children. It taught me a lot. I'll share a couple of hair-raising stories about working with them. Yes. The very first day of the seminar, we're not just going to be talking about energy. We're going to take that information on energy and show you how that then applies to the physical development of our bodies and of dogs' bodies. And we'll move into trigger points, which will be very helpful for a dog that's in that circumstance. And so I'll show you how to do trigger points. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever had, has anyone there ever had trigger point therapy with a massage therapist or a physical therapist or a chiropractor? Painful, isn't it?
Yeah, but it works.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts. It'll bring tears to your eyes when they do that stuff. The way that we will be doing trigger point therapy is not painful, and it's very, very effective. It's very, very effective. So I'll be teaching you not only that, I'll be teaching you to know exactly where, without a doubt, you need to be treating. Because sometimes these trigger points are in all different locations. So I'll teach you how to find it on that individual, because each individual is different. And the same thing applies to your acupuncture points. Acupuncture points shift, they move. If you've had an injury, I know Dr. DeRock has had to deal with that, I'm sure. It's just shaking her head, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, so they'll shift if you have had an injury. And you need to find exactly where that point is, and I will show you how to find that without a question. Not only that, but there is a part 2, which is the more advanced stuff for the brain stuff. But I'll show you not only how to find it, but also how to know exactly when you're finished fixing it. And even an acupuncturist can't tell you that. But I'll teach you how to know the second, and they clear faster than you might think. Some of them clear faster than you might think, and others take a really long time. And usually they're the ones that you expect to clear fast that are taking a really long time. So there are a lot of fascinating things about the palpatory skills, which is your ability to sense things, about the palpatory skills that I'll be teaching you, and how to use that information to find and to treat. So you'll have the who, what, when, where, and how of healing for yourself, for your animals, for your pets, and for other people in your family that you can work with.
Can we do
So there you go. If you want to make a difference in people's lives and the lives of your pets and your horses, you want to be able to you want to be trained in quantum dynamics. It will take you the next step in health and healing for everyone in your family.